Hi everyone, Stephen Aitchison here again with day 3 of 30 Days of Change. So I'm just going to kind of wait on a few people coming in just now, and if you want to say where you're from in the world, that would be fantastic, just to give a shout out to you, where you're from. I hope you got the message okay, that I was doing a kind of live broadcast just now. Today's topic is going to be about the questions we ask ourselves in our mind, and it's a big topic. Well, it's not a big topic, it's a very important topic. I'm just going to get rid of this 1 second. Mohammed, how are you doing? Stephanie Brooks, good morning to you. Tracy Holmes, hi, how are you doing, Tracy? Tracy, you were on yesterday as well, I believe. Khalil, how are you doing? We're dear missing you. Bren, good morning. Hello, it's afternoon for me in the UK, so wherever you are in the world, just let me know where you are in the world. From Lebanon, excellent, Joyce. Marikar, good morning Marikar, how are you doing? Senka, good evening. Melira. Josette Ramundo, hello, how are you doing, Josette? Hey Steve, Shez from India, hi Shez. Jessica, how are you doing? Edgardo Rodriguez, excellent. So we've got a couple of viewers on just now. We've got 2,000 viewers on just now, to be exact. So we'll get started in a second or two. We'll just wait another couple of people coming in. Coming in. So we've got Jeanette Burgos from Florida, New York, Lance Venema. Excellent, love New York. Late night in Australia. Rani is that 9 hours ahead? I think that's 9 hours ahead, so it'll be 11 PM over there or something. Kevin Combs, good day to you. How you doing from Italy, Nicola? How we doing? Excellent. So we've got people from all over the world on just now, which is fantastic to see. Hello from upstate New York, Don Morton Miller. And Rajiv, good morning to you as well. Sarah Trotter Childers, good morning to you. From Romania, Carmen, how you doing, Carmen? Hello from the Philippines, Mary. Excellent. So we've got loads of people on just now, which is fantastic to see. Vida from UK, how you doing, Vida? Good afternoon from Sweden. South Africa, Bella Ricard. Christina Desigos was from Sweden, I probably said that wrong. Marie Brown from Ayr in Scotland, excellent, we've got somebody on from Scotland. How you doing, Marie? Sunita, hi, how you doing? From Shavertown in Pennsylvania, Denise Sportwood, Sweden. These comments are coming in thick and fast, it's quite hard to read them. And Alicia from South Africa. Okay, we'll get started in a second. Brian from Canada, Ray from Cheshire, Emily, hi, how you doing, Emily? Cynthia from Sweden. Hi, just loved your live shows. Oh, thanks, Smiley. So, what we're going to do is talk about the questions we ask ourselves. I'm just going to get this up in a second. Let's go and do this. The questions we ask ourselves are really important. So let me know if you've ever asked yourself the question, why does this always happen to me? Why does that always happen to me? Why does he always talk about me? Or why does she always talk about me? Or why does everybody hate me? Or why can I never lose weight? Why can't I do this? Have you ever asked yourself that question? Where it's kind of is a nihilistic, where you just kind of, it makes you feel a bit down, but you always kind of ask that question. Well, no, I'm just doing that myself there just now. So if you've ever asked the question, why does this always happen to me? Then you'll kind of know what I'm talking about. And all of us have done that at some stage in our life. I'm just going to take a wee drink here. I'm just trying to, I've got a dry mouth. I need my coffee. So if you've ever asked yourself that question, and we all have to be honest, then that is not a good question to ask yourself. And I'll tell you why. Because what your brain is doing when you ask yourself a question like that, why does this always happen to me? Or why can I never lose weight? Or why can I never find love? Or why can I not get a job I'm meant to have? If you ask yourself that question, what is happening is you're really asking yourself that question, but you're really asking your brain that question. And your brain kind of digs into your subconscious mind and it'll give you an answer. But it won't filter out the answer. It'll give you an honest answer. So if you ask yourself the question, why can I never lose weight? It'll just be, it'll come up with an honest answer. Your subconscious mind will say, because you're lazy, because you sit on the couch and watch TV, because you never do any exercise, because you overeat. And when it comes up with all these answers in your mind, you get pictures in your mind in the form of pictures and visualizations and stuff like that. It makes you feel even more depressed. It makes you feel kind of bad about yourself. So that's why it's not a good way to ask yourself those kind of questions. So your subconscious mind is really, really honest. They'll just say you're fat because you don't exercise. You sit on the couch, eat potato chips all day, all night. You sit and watch TV all day. You never go out exercising. You never do this, you never do that. And it's really honest, but it makes you feel worse about yourself. And that's where a lot of your beliefs might come from as well, because you're asking bad questions like that. Whereby, if you ask yourself a good question, and I'm going to explain what a good question is in a second. If you ask yourself a good question, it comes up with different answers. It comes up with a different energy. So a good question on that would be, so okay, you've asked yourself the question, why can I never lose weight? On the flip side, if you ask yourself the question, what can I do to lose 2 pounds extra this month? Do you notice the difference in those two types of questions? Even the energy of those two types of questions. So I'll say again, the two questions are, why can I never lose weight? That's the first question. And the second question is, how could I lose 2 pounds extra this month? How much energy does the second question have? How much more kind of ambitious, is it not ambitious, how much more energetic is that question in itself? Because it's a completely different mindset. You're coming from a completely different place. When you ask yourself the second question, how could I lose 2 pounds extra this month? It's giving you a possibility. It's giving you a kind of future goal to work towards. And that's why questions like that are really good. So I'm going to give you 5 components of a good question to ask yourself, and then we'll go over some kind of examples, and then we'll speak about we'll kind of interact and get your questions as well. So the 5 components of a good question. Number 1, it should be forward thinking. So it should look towards the kind of future. So you realise that question I asked, how could I lose 2 pounds extra this month? So you're talking about a month span, and you're saying, how can I lose an extra 2 pounds? It's got to be simple and clear. How can I lose an extra 2 pounds this month? Very simple, very clear, which is great, and that's what you want to ask yourself as well. It's also is open to new possibilities. When you ask yourself that question, how could I lose 2 pounds extra this month? It gives you a sense of possibility. It gives you a sense of this could actually happen. So that's what that question does as well. So that's the third component of a good question. The fourth component of a good question is it's thought-provoking. So it makes you think about your life. It makes you think about what you can do. It generates ideas. It generates something within inside you that says, actually, this could actually happen. It makes you think about your life and where you are just now. So that's the fourth component. It's thought-provoking. And the fifth component is it generates energy. So if you think about asking yourself the question, why can I never lose weight? There's no energy in that. There's nothing, there's nowhere to go, and it makes you kind of feel down. You can almost feel yourself kind of shrinking because you just feel down and you just go, it's never going to happen to me. There's questions like that. But if you ask yourself the question, okay, how could I lose 2 pounds extra this month? That generates energy, it generates possibility, it generates excitement, and you just go, hey, this is actually possible, I could actually do this, and your brain comes up with all these ideas and just says, okay, you could go out walking for 15 minutes every single morning, and you say to yourself, well, 15 minutes is not much, and if you go out walking every single morning for 15 minutes, and your brain just goes, well, that's easy, 2 pounds, why not go for 4 pounds, why not go for 8 pounds? But if you ask yourself the question, how could I lose 2 pounds, and it comes up walking for 15 minutes every single day, or even 10 minutes per day, or doing some cardio work in the house, 50 minutes per day, could you lose 2 pounds extra a month? Yeah, but you see what the difference is? That question, it generates energy. You can feel it inside you. And if you're asking yourself that just now, if you're in that situation just now, think about how you feel about the shift in the type of questions you're asking yourself. And this happens to everybody in every aspect of their life, whether it be business, whether it be at their work, with the family, and just every single area of our life. And we need to catch ourselves with the questions we're asking ourselves. So that's what this topic is about, because ultimately what happens is the questions you ask yourself, the answers that come up that the brain pulls from the subconscious mind, will go on to develop a belief about yourself. So if you constantly ask yourself, why can I never do this? Your brain is going to pull information from your subconscious mind that you've read about in the past, that you've seen on TV, that you've read about on the internet, that you've researched, that you've done some work on already. It'll pull information from that and give you an honest answer. And it goes on to form a belief, because you're building up a portfolio of evidence to prove why you can never do something. And we'll use the weight thing again, because a lot of people have trouble with that. So if you ask yourself the question, why can I never lose weight? Your brain's going to pull up information from the subconscious mind to say, this is why you can never lose weight. Because you're not good at controlling your emotional eating. Because you sit on your arse all day and kind of watch TV, because you're eating too much. And when you do that, it builds up that belief in yourself that says, I can never lose weight. I'm not going to be able to lose weight. And that is what's happening when you add bad questions in your mind. It goes on to form a rock solid belief. Now when you ask a good question, like, how could I lose £2 extra this month? That rock solid belief, it starts to turn kind of molten almost, because you're questioning that belief, because you're getting excited about the possibilities. It's generating energy about what you could actually do, what you could actually achieve in your life. Now, if you think about that for every single area of your life, and you ask yourself the right questions, and it's forward-thinking questions, it's a question that generates energy, it's a question that's thought-provoking. If you think about those types of questions and you ask more of those questions, how different would your life be if you just asked those types of questions? How amazing would that be, that you could change your beliefs about yourself just purely because of the questions you're asking yourself day in and day out? Now, to give you an example, I've done this in the past as well. Nobody's immune to this. I've done this in the past as well, whereby when I was online, and this is talking about business, when I was online in business, it took me years to start generating any money online. And it seemed to take forever to do. Obviously it wasn't forever, that's an nihilistic thinking in itself. But it just seemed to take a long time. So it was about 4 years or something before I started generating any income that kind of really mattered. And I kept on asking myself the same question over and over again. Why can I never make any money online? So when I asked myself that question, my brain would go into my subconscious mind and say, this is why you can't make any money online, because your products are not good, you're not as good as this guy. And I revered kind of people like Eben Pagan, Frank Kern, and Brendan Bouchard, and people like that. I wanted to kind of emulate them. And it says, you're not as good as them, your website's not as good as them, your skills, you don't have the skills, you don't have the ability. But when I turned all that around, so I'm just going to have another wee drink of coffee here. When I turned all that around and asked myself the question, when I caught myself and asked myself the question, okay, how can I make an extra $100 extra this month? And then when I asked myself that question, I actually got excited. I thought, well, that's possible. I could actually do that. It was thought-provoking because I had to think about kind of some new ideas, and I got excited by it. It generated energy. It was forward-thinking. It was simple and clear. So that's when things started to turn around. And that's when I started to form a new belief that I could do business online, I could make money online, I could actually help people as well. Because that was my real goal, to help as many people in the world as possible. But at the same time, I wanted to support myself and my family. And that's what I've been doing ever since. So when I turned that question around, how could I generate an extra $100 a month? And then that turned into, okay, how could I generate an extra $1,000 a month in order for me to be able to give up my full-time job? And then everything started to change. because I was generating all these ideas. I was buzzing with energy. I had all these ideas. My head was just going crazy. I've got this idea. I could do that. I could do that. I could do that. And then what you've got to do is just calm yourself down and just kind of center yourself and just focus on one thing at a time and just kind of go for it. And that's what happened to me, and it just turned my whole business around because I asked a simple and clear question that was thought-provoking, it was forward-thinking, and it generated energy. And that's what I'm inviting you to do today for your life, in every aspect of your life just now. So it could be with relationships, it could be with your business, it could be with your goals in life, with your work place that you do, anything that you're doing in work, anything at all with your personal development goals as well. Start asking questions, much better questions, and write down, and I'm going to send you a link after this video. I'll send you a link to I've written a post called 34 thought-provoking questions, so I'll put it in the comments, a link to that I've done a blog post on. So hopefully it'll help you to think about these kind of thought-provoking questions and help you to change the way you talk to yourself, because ultimately the conversations we have with ourselves are the most important conversations we'll ever have in our life, because it shapes what you do, it shapes your actions, it shapes your thoughts, it shapes your beliefs, and it shapes your values and principles, just like Mahatma Gandhi said in his quote as well. So that is the goal for today, for me to get you to think about the questions you're asking yourself in life. So I'm going to go over to the news feed just now and see if there's any questions. Somebody's asking, what's the picture behind me? That's by a guy called Cameron Gray. If you look up his artwork is just amazing. I love it. And my wife bought me that painting for, I think it was my birthday. No, it was as a gift because I'd surpassed one of my goals. So she bought it as a gift, and I just love his work. I think it's Cameron Gray. Yeah, it is Cameron Gray. So check it out. I'll give a link if you can't find it. Okay, any subconscious if you're... Right, sorry, I've missed that question. So I'm going to have to start kind of from the bottom, so I'm sorry if I missed your question. Very helpful, thank you, Jackie. Tamara, have a wonderful day. You as well. Nora, great insights. Anybody got any questions on what we've been speaking about here today? Steve, I just want to take the time to say thank you. Sharon Morgan, thanks for that, Sharon. How can we leave the negative thoughts behind? Joanna, I missed your second name then, Joanna. How can you leave the negative thoughts behind? Well, if you think about how negative thoughts are generated, negative thoughts are generated, they perpetuate on each other. So what you do, you've got a kind of stem of a negative thought, and then that negative thought will feed another negative thought, so it's like the branches of a tree. And then another negative thought will come from that, another negative thought, and pretty soon your whole kind of mind is negative thinking. But if you start feeding yourself positive information and positive kind of thoughts, then it'll start to infiltrate all the negative thoughts. Not straight away, not overnight, but it takes time. If you've been a negative thinker for a long time, you've got to start kind of looking at the positive side of life, and that starts with what you're feeding your mind. And we mentioned this the other day, stop watching the news. Well, we'll not go into that just now, that's one of my kind of pet hates, the news and just the media as a whole. Stop watching that, just feed your brain negative thoughts, and it's disproportionately biased towards bad news. Reading positive books, positive business books are brilliant, in people's personal lives, how they've overcame things in their life, that is really positive as well. And kind of watching personal development videos on YouTube as well, instead of using YouTube just to watch the cats fighting with a lightsaber or something like that. Just use YouTube and use social media to your benefit, and you can do that to change from a negative thinker into a positive thinker. And it's not to say you're going to be a positive thinker all the time and thinking the world is white fluffy clouds and rainbows and stuff like that. It's just about being realistic again, because people think, if you're a positive thinker, you're not realistic. It's unrealistic to be a negative thinker, because the world is not a negative place. The world is mostly a beautiful place. There's only a couple of negative people in it that make it seem like it's a negative place. So it's unrealistic to be a negative thinker as well. So if you start feeding yourself, feed your mind positive thoughts, and whatever you feed your mind will come out of your energy system as well, because it's all about your energy as well and what you project. Okay, see if there's any more questions here. And good morning from Alberta, Christine. Thanks, Christine. Go Farner, nice post, thank you. Anybody got any questions on what we're talking about? Worrying is just worthless, no point. I agree with you, JJ. What about open-mindedness, Joanna? Open-mindedness in what sense, Joanna? I'm a psychologist, yet my three former... I missed it again because everything's going too fast. I can't pause these comments. How do you survive after spouse suicide even after getting help? Kimberly, that's a really difficult one and impossible to kind of answer on this kind of live feed. It's extremely difficult. Obviously, if you go to your local counsellor and kind of seek help from there, because that must be a kind of terrible situation to be in. So wishing you the best for that, but I'd seek help from a local counsellor. Miley, we're here to change always for the better, always change to become better. Exactly. Can you give advice about bad habits like interrupting people? Amy. But interrupting people, I suppose that is a bad habit. If you deem it as a bad habit, it would be. Just catching yourself as you're doing it. So just be conscious when you're talking to people, because what happens when people interrupt people when they're talking, this is maybe a different topic, but what happens is you're thinking about yourself too much. It means you're not actively listening to the person. So whenever you interrupt somebody, you're always in your own head. You're never actually listening to them. So if you practice and you kind of search online for active listening, then you can learn the skills of active listening. And when you learn the skills of active listening, you'll stop interrupting people altogether because you'll actually start to listen to them. If you're interrupting, it means you're inside your own head and you're always thinking about the next question that you can ask, or you're always thinking about what you can bring to that conversation rather than thinking about what the other person is saying. So I hope that helps. Carol, pray. Thank you. This is great and an awesome resource for positive reformation. Thanks, Alex Heaney. Thanks for that. Yes, it is live, Arizo. Very live. Law of attraction, JJ. Yes. Good advice. First time listening from Renault. Okay, great learning, Steve. How do you stop repeating cycles? Jason Howard. I go from having money to no job and no money repeatedly. Self-sabotage, Jason. Because what you're doing, you're in the old kind of belief patterns that you've had before. So there's something inside you, and obviously I don't know your situation, so I can't go into it too deeply. But you're in a situation whereby you believe you can make money, and you start to make money, but then you believe you don't deserve it, so you go back to kind of where you were before. So it could be something like that. And that's what you'll find with a lot of kind of lottery millionaires. They win tens of millions of dollars or tens of millions of pounds, and then they're broke within the space of a year or two because they have the old belief patterns within them that they don't deserve money, that they can't keep money, that they can't save money. So it's going back to those old belief patterns that they have, and that's why lottery winners, and the lottery, the people who run the lottery actually offer you counselling as well to help you deal with that, which I think is a brilliant idea. So if I'd won kind of £10 million, I think I would need counselling as well, just to pick myself up off the ground first of all. But I think I'd need counselling just to say, okay, you've got all this money, how do you deal with it? Because it's a totally different space in your head. So yeah, it's about thinking about your belief patterns, Jason, and you've obviously kind of got old belief patterns that are kind of still holding you back, so it's about looking at them. So I hope that helps. Right, okay, I'm just going to see if we've got any more questions here. Alan Ferrer, thank you, Steve. God bless you forever. Thank you, Alan. I really appreciate that. It's inspired us by your quotes. Thank you, Elesser. We'll try your thinking. Well, it's not really my thinking. This is all kind of out there as well. So I don't want you to change to my way of kind of thinking, but it's just kind of giving you advice that you can use. So it's just giving you tools, really. That's all I'm doing with these kind of live feeds. It's just giving you tools that you can use. And it's like any tools, you can use them if you want, or you can use other different types of tools. So that's kind of what I'm all about. I don't want you to change to my view of things, because it's not my view. It's just giving you some tools that you might be able to use in your life. Thank you for the advice. Vatrista, I think I pronounced that right. Michelle Cieli, that's the kind of counselling I would like. How do you help the young ones? You lead by example. If you're looking to, when you're saying help the young ones, I don't know if you're talking about family or or kind of young people in general, but it's leading by example. And you've always got to lead by example. You can't teach young ones by shouting at them or kind of telling them what to do. If you lead by example, they're going to copy you because they're just kind of sponges. They soak up everything. So leading by example is the way to help kind of young people, especially young people in your family. I'm suffering from problem. Please show me a way to overcome. I don't know what your problem is, Poonam. Sorry, I can't answer kind of big counselling questions on this. It's just kind of general advice. If we stick to the topic of this is about the questions we ask ourselves in the mind. Johanna K, you've helped me already. Thank you very much. Is that Johanna K? Walk the walk, definitely. Damn, those are too much to live for. How to forget negative people, Roxanne. How do you forget negative people? When you say forget negative people, right, so you need to clarify that a wee bit more. I don't understand what you mean. How do you forget negative people? Or do you mean how do you kind of get them out of your life? I don't quite understand that. So if you can write back. Okay, quotes, lovely them. Thanks, fill me up with energy. Thanks, Emily Borg. Thank you from Hong Kong. Thank you for visiting, Isabel. Yes, Michael Tiffany, yes, listen, yep. Right, okay, how can we help our children who are being bullied or teased in schools? Katie Bacon. Again, that's about going to the schools and making them aware of what's happening. Katie, obviously that's a specific question. So you've kind of really got to go to the schools, make them aware of what's kind of happening there. How should I overcome negative people? It's difficult being in life when you're kind of a positive person or you're trying to be positive and you're surrounded by negative people. Obviously, limiting the time you spend with negative people is kind of one way to start. So sometimes you're not going to be able to drop negative people in your life altogether because it might be your family, it might be your spouse or something like that. But if you always kind of stay positive and you counteract their negativity with a positive statement, then pretty soon the negative people in your life, unless it's your spouse or something, but the negative people in your kind of life they're not going to come to you with the negativity because you know you're always going to counteract them with a positive kind of spin on what they're saying. So that's one way to deal with it, kind of limiting contact, or drop them altogether. Drop the negative people in your life altogether. If they're always being negative, I'm not saying if somebody's depressed and they've just kind of been depressed for the last couple of weeks or something, I'm not saying drop them from your life. That's just not what I'm saying at all. But if you've got somebody in your life who's always been negative and they thrive on negativity, drop them from your life. You don't need them in your life. And if they're hampering your kind of progress, why should you have them in your life if they've always been like that? And as I said, I'm not talking about somebody that's got kind of an illness or something, they've got depression or something like that. But I'm not advocating dropping them. That's a totally different situation. So that's one way. That's a lot of ways to kind of overcome negative people in your life. Go and nourish yourself with positivity. Lauren said that. Yes, definitely. Abby, can't hear a thing. It's to do with your phone, or you've got too many kind of stuff, apps on your phone or something open. You need to kind of close that. Miranda, I'm in Steve. Thanks for that, Miranda. Fear of death, any positives on death? Chris Seddon says he's got a fear of death, any positives on death? Well, this is my personal opinion on death, Chris. I'm kind of looking forward to death. I don't want to kill myself or anything like that, but I think it's going to be an adventure. Depends on what your beliefs are on death, I suppose. So that's going to kind of either feed your fear of death or it's going to make it a positive thing for you. Myself, I think it's going to be a great adventure. It's going to be the next adventure, and I'm quite looking forward to it. I don't want to rush it or anything. I'm just looking forward to seeing what happens when I do kind of eventually pass on. I want to see what the next stage is. So that might kind of sound a bit weird, but I'm looking forward to it. If you've got a fear of death, then you've got to look at what you fear about death itself. Is it about leaving people behind? Is it about you not being in this world and not being able to control it? Is it about control? So you've got to ask yourself those kind of questions as well. What is it about death that you actually fear? Because it might not be death itself, it's about the actual process of death as well. And that might be a big thing for a lot of people. And stay in the moment. Not dying to get there, Michelle Shell. Yeah. Tiffy Gibson, love it. Thank you, Tiffy. And Dorothy Mendez Brooks, I believe death is not the end. I definitely don't believe it's the end. I think we're all made of energy, and that energy will go on to form part of the universal consciousness, or the collective consciousness, as Carl Jung kind of described it as. And I definitely believe in the kind of collective consciousness, and we can tap into that anytime just by kind of sitting quietly, kind of either meditating or trying to get into your subconscious minds, where you're just kind of sitting quietly and listening for answers, listening to the voice within. I definitely believe that we can tap into anybody's kind of consciousness, because we're all part of the same consciousness. Meet, I'm looking forward to moving into another life. I believe in life after death, Victoria Kelly. I think I've sparked another topic there altogether. Melissa Shepherd, much appreciation to you. Much appreciation to you, Melissa. Michelle, hi, how you doing? Mark John Dador, love it, sir. Thank you. Okay, I think I've covered the topic of the questions we ask ourselves and how you can change that. So I really do appreciate you being on today and kind of listening to day 3 of the 30 days of change. So I'm going to head just now, and we'll have another live feed tomorrow, probably about this time, or I might change the time tomorrow, because a lot of people are saying, oh, I keep missing it. But then if I change the time tomorrow, they'll probably say, the people that were on earlier will probably say, oh, I keep missing it. So I'm going to go just now, and I'll say thank you to every single person for coming and watching me and kind of interacting. I really do appreciate it. And I think it's brilliant how we've been able to interact over the last 3 days. And we're going to be doing over the next, well, hopefully it's going to be every day. So until tomorrow, take care.